Roses are red, violets are blue. This poem makes no sense. Refrigerator. This week's episode is sponsored by
light bulbs.
Because I'm scared of the dark.
So whether you believe it or not, a lot of things that you've been taught didn't come from school. For instance, school didn't teach you how to walk, nor did it teach you how to eat, both of which are things that you do every day. On top of those, here are 7 more things that you didn't learn in school. Number 1, the human stomach is capable of digesting razor blades. You know how people used to say that if you swallowed a seed, a tree might grow inside of you? Well, forget that. The acids in your stomach are so intense that it can even dissolve metal.
The poor seed wouldn't even stand a chance.
Number 2, the letter J is the only letter in the alphabet not mentioned in the periodic table. Wow. People are heartless. What did the J ever do to them? I guess some people just don't care about the letter J. Don't believe me? Look it up. Prove me wrong. Put it in the comments. But I guess whoever made up the names for the elements wasn't from America. Because in America, everybody's winners. Number 3, water can boil and freeze at the same time. Now at normal atmospheric pressure, as we know, when water gets hot, it boils, and when it gets cold, it freezes. In normal atmospheric pressure, the boiling point of water is 373.15 Kelvin, and the freezing point is 273.15 Kelvin. But when we bring the pressure down to 0.006 atmospheres, the boiling and freezing point both become the same at 273.16 Kelvin. Number 4, if you strung all the DNA in your body together, it would be enough to go from the sun to Pluto 17 times. The human genome contains 23 DNA molecules called chromosomes, each containing 500,000 to 2.5 million nucleotide pairs. Each DNA molecule, when uncoiled, averages about 2 inches in length. There are about 37 trillion cells in the human body, so if you took all of the DNA out of them and put them together end to end, it would total to 125 billion miles, enough for 17 round trips from the sun to Pluto. Number 5, it takes 40,000 years for a photon to get from the center of the sun to the surface, but only 8 minutes to cover the rest of the distance from the surface to the Earth. Now I know what you're thinking.
But Bentley, physics says no!
But physics says yes. Let me explain. In the distance between the surface of the sun to the Earth, it is nothing but an empty vacuum in between the spaces. There's nothing to stop the light from getting to the Earth. There's nothing to interfere. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, from the core to the surface of the sun, things are a little bit different. There are a lot of molecules and gases and whatnot inside the sun, blocking the photon from getting to the core to the surface. Now, when a photon hits an atom, the atom absorbs it, and then right after it absorbs it, it launches it out and scatters it in a completely random direction. And since the sun is so compact with all those gases, the photon will continue to bounce between atoms, and it may not even make it to the surface.
So how do you know all this stuff? It's not like you just got it from nothing.
I know what I know. Number 6. The average distance that a human will walk is enough to go around the Earth 5 times. So the average human takes 7,500 steps a day. If you keep this pace up for 80 years, it will come out to a total of 216,200,000 262,500 steps. So doing the math, that totals to 110,000 miles, which is the equivalent of going around the Earth 5 times. Now, if you did this all at one time, your feet would probably die. So let's not do that. Number 7. Without saliva, taste doesn't exist. So in order to taste something, you need to eat something and then let the saliva dissolve the food into a liquid so it can soak into the taste buds in your tongue, and then in such ways you can taste things. So yeah, the bottom line is, yeah.
Do you know why there's nothing here?
Because nobody sent me questions! Ask me if artichokes are real. Ask me if the tortoise really beat the hare. Ask me what the difference between a pretzel and a sardine is. Ask me something! Do you know why there hasn't been a video for 3 weeks? Because nobody cares!
Dude, that's pretty harsh.
I guess you're right. But I need this job! Anyway, so that's all I've got for this week. Be sure to actually send your questions to bentleyvstheworld@gmail.com. And if you didn't already know about it, make sure to check out my Instagram account at bentleyvstheworld. So until next week, always remember that broccoli is terrible, Jesus is better, and if you don't play disc golf, you're doing it wrong. Oh!
No, it'd be fun.
Here's a compilation of how hard it is to make a 5-minute video. On top of those, what was I about to say? Number 1, the human body is capable of digesting razor blades. No, human stomach, yeah.
The human body.
You know, your eye can dissolve razor blades. Like, that's just insane. Wow. People. You laugh.
Sorry.
Do not laugh. Are you gonna listen? Good boy. Don't. I told you not to laugh! Doing the math, that totals to 110. Ask me if the turd.
The turd. The turd right there.